Hi, and welcome to a comprehensive tour of ELMS Learning Network version 0.2.0. You can find out more about the project at elmsln.org. You can get the Get ELMSLN, check out our demo, which we have running, slightly behind version. Check out what's going on in the community, read our documentation, blog posts, etc. So what I'm going to be doing today is starting up system based on what's in the installers. So we have our documentation here. You can jump into the installation. And so you can either run this on any hosting provider you'd like. It's boiled down to a copy paste. Obviously there's a lot more to it than that, but what we're going to do today is fire up Vagrant. So if I scroll down in the list, see under developer there's Vagrant. You can get all the install instructions here. I've already set up my dependencies ahead of time and downloaded the project, but you'll see it'll tell you what you have to do to get this working locally. So I'm going to go over to terminal here. I'm in the directory for ELMSLN, and I'm going to type Vagrant up. And Vagrant up is going to get a base box, which is CentOS 6 based. It's going to download a fresh copy of ELMS Learning Network, and then it's going to run through our hands-free installation. So this isn't doing anything you couldn't do against DigitalOcean, Amazon, any number of providers. So this is going to run for a bit. I'm going to hit pause and then jump back into it as it goes. It takes about 12 to 18 minutes to spin up the Vagrant instance. So we've got all the prerequisites out of the way. It's starting into its pre-installation phase and it's finished, and now it's into the actual install. Skipping ahead a little bit, you can see now we're getting into actually installing some of the systems. So it's using Drush to do this, and we scroll back up a little bit. See, there's these placeholders set up. So these are your services that can be requested per course network. So you see we've got courses, that's kind of what you'd think of as your content, outline, flow of instruction, blog, hub, which is for future usage, studio, innovate, discuss. So we've got a bunch of different tools. Now, after the service placeholders are set up, this is so you can request things later, it's going to set up what are called the authorities. And so there's a whole bunch of different authorities that have different scopes to them. So the first one you see here we've got is LQ. It's just doing them alphabetically. It doesn't matter when they're set up. And so LQ is a live question tool. Now that hasn't been flushed out yet. It's still highly in development. But so it's going to put it in place so that you could use it at a later point in time if you so chose. See, interesting thing as this is setting up, there's this ELMSLN settings that's created. This is actually a connection keychain module that's authored unique to each server, and it's set up automatically. So based on, this is because we put in the name ELMSLN as the group for the project and LN as a kind of spacing modifier. So because we did that, it's going to go and author the connection credentials. So the credentials are different for everyone. Everywhere in the universe follows the same pattern, but the credentials are always different. And that's created at install time. So it's a nice little module you don't have to write. You can find it. It tells you where it is. We can look around the file system when we get to those videos. Now we're installing online. I believe iCore also installed. That's short for Interactive Course Object Repository. Right now, the main thing that does is timelines. So you can assemble timelines directly in it. I'm going to let this keep going. Online is kind of a big one. Online lets you actually set up the other tools that are services. So this is where you tell ELMS about the courses that you're going to be offering. It's where you kind of route, connectivity with other data sources if you want to automate, student section creation, things like that. See, we're into compliance now. Compliance helps with auditing process. It's also how you can make exceptions, such as, a faculty member wants to add a colleague in to check out, the work they've been doing in their course. You can do it through there. You can also grant people guest roles and things like that through that system. It leaves a paper trail, which is important for compliance. In the future, it will also help with compliance auditing of content from an accessibility and quality perspective, as well as copyright of media and assets in use. See, Inbox is also setting itself up now. CIS finished, it imports some default content just so you get kind of an idea of what you can do with this. Inbox is not flushed out at all. Right now it just installs with a calendar. It doesn't have any usability put forth in it in the .2 release here. But all of these, follow this pattern of setting themselves up via drush calls. You can see we're getting into, grades. These are things that are coming in the future, so we're having the system stamp them out now so that it's less of an upgrade path to produce them in the future. But they're really just stamping out with a baseline, and then there'll be functionality can get added in via our upgrade process, which can then go and just chain off the same drush calls to act as if it had happened during installation. And now you see we get down to the ELMSLN ASCII art. Why wouldn't you have that? Of course. Scroll down, see it gives you some information. It says you can copy into your Etsy host file. The directions for this are all in that Vagrant documentation file, so please follow that. And scroll down to the end, and you should get a message like this: finished. Go to online.elmsln.local. And copy this. If you want to go on to the actual server that was set up, you type Vagrant SSH, and it'll log you in. And then do something like that last. You see there's ELMSLN there, or I can type drush, if I can spell, drush, or D space SA, which will give you site aliases so that you can, this is how you can call things from command line in Drupal, since it is built on Drupal. But now that we've got that address, paste that in, and we're ready to go.